Prince Blue-Plush by Zubric. Blue-Blood sighed, taking in a breath of the sweet spring air as he casually strolled up the fine quartz walkway up to Ruby's Wells mansion. The prince's reason for being here was quite simple. Just 2 days ago, he had been invited over to discuss a business opportunity that, in theory, sounded profitable. While more of a map maker, his duties as a noble of Canterlot had required him to have some knowledge of currency and business. Regardless, he was still no expert on the subject, but felt confident enough that he could handle this deal himself without asking any pony else about it first. He ascended up the front steps, taking in the exquisite craftsmanship as he knocked. As he waited his entry, he adjusted his collar. First impressions were important after all. To his surprise, the door was not answered by a simple servant of the mansion, but by Ruby herself. His eyes fell upon her vibrant red mane, which flowed over her face in such a way that it hid part of her left eye. Her body was covered in a similar red dress with white highlights running along the skirt. She moved her mane with her hoof before offering it to shake.
"Ah, Prince Blueblood, nice to see you again. Thank you so much for coming. Do come in."
Her voice was soothing, dripping with the usual Canterlot accent. Blueblood scoffed, holding his snout up in the air as he entered her domain, without even returning the shake.
"Answering the door yourself? Or your servants do such a menial task?"
Ruby showed only minor annoyance by his remark and simply smiled nonchalantly.
"Oh, I gave them all the day off so that we could chat in private. They won't be needed, I assure you."
A light smirk came upon her face. The prince tilted his head, confused to say the least. Why not have the staff around to do your bidding at the drop of a hat? The mere thought of having to do anything on his own was appalling, especially tasks that were deemed for Earth Pony stature. Being that this was not his house, he felt entitled to comment anyway.
"Well, what good are they if they're not here?"
The mare muttered something under her breath. Her teeth clenched as she led the way up a set of carpeted stairs.
"Regardless, they will not be needed for this exchange."
She stopped once at the top and stared back at him, glancing at his features.
"You know, Blueblood, did any pony tell you that you are rather chapping fellow?"
she flattered.
Was there any other doubt?
He adjusted his mane while smirking pridefully. Quite the bold move for one so hard-headed at himself, but what harm would it do?
Maybe. I do so love the color blue."
She winked.
"Would you care for a tour before we begin our trade proposal?"
Blueblood glanced at one of the paintings displaying the night sky and nodded.
"Very well, if you insist."
He purred smugly.
"Showing one's possessions to impress me, are you?"
Another quiet groan escaped the mare's lips as she gestured him to follow.
"I'm just being a good host, and yes, I do like showing off."
She gestured her hoof down a hardwood-floored hallway. Blueblood's eyes scanned the various photographs and paintings as he followed, comparing it to his own manner. Her collection dwelled in comparison to his, of course. Every pony failed in comparison to his magnificence. After all, he was royalty. Several turns later, and they came to a stop in front of a set of double doors. She gestures to the doors, smiling.
"And this is my most prized collection of all."
She turned the knob with her magic and swung the door open. Blueblood blinked as he looked about the large room, resisting an urge to laugh. He strolled inside, looking at the various shelves. He has been expecting jewels, pottery of major worth, or even ceremonial swords.
but not large plush ponies.
Oh my, and they say us nobles have no sense of humor.
He covers his mouth to stifle a snicker. Ruby frowned, narrowing her eyes at him.
Well, not all treasures have to be made of precious metals, now do they?
But what value could stuffed toys possibly have? What are you, a child?
He huffed, slightly amused by the Celestia plushie in the corner, as he walked over to it and pushed his hoof into the soft surface.
Well, it's not like your opinion matters all that much, now does it?
He couldn't believe how realistic each plush looked as he observed each one.
Well, you are the one that showed this room to me, so maybe it has some merit.
I do have my taste. I have even made a few. I even made one a close friend so I can get them hugs before bed,
she said without a hint of embarrassment of saying such a thing. The prince scoffed.
It's so childish. Hardly noble at all. I still don't see the point.
Well, you have your opinions, and I have mine. Now, shall we look around some more, or are you trying to avoid business?
He blushed and coughed. In truth, he wasn't quite sure he'd be able to handle this himself anymore, but already being here, he had no choice but to do it anyway.
Shall we have tea while we discuss terms?
The prince reluctantly nodded, resisting a blush, and followed the cute redhead to her kitchen. Despite his disposition, he did find her more tolerable than other nobles he had to deal with. That, and he was a sucker to compliments. Their last encounter at one of the many castle garden parties had not gone so well. Small disagreements had turned into bickering, then into a full-on shouting contest. In the end, Blueblood still felt he was in the right.
And with those assets combined, we are sure to see an increase in profit margins for the third quarter.
Ruby finished as she gestured to the lines on a long contract. In truth, Blueblood hadn't really even understood a third of what she had been saying for the last hour, but had been too distracted by her looks to ask important questions. Blueblood almost regretted coming here alone. Almost.
Yes, I see.
He coughed, grabbing the quill now wanting to get this over with, feeling bored. Everything he did understand sounded good. Ruby took the parchment once signed and set it aside, seeming overjoyed.
Excellent! You won't be disappointed, I assure you. Now, shall we finalize with a drink?
Blue-Blood blushed a little, shaking his head, having been distracted by the mayor's fine rump.
Of course, that sounds delightful.
Whether Ruby was aware he had been staring was hidden behind her stone-hard poker face. This way! She gestured again towards an office across the hall. The room itself had ivory oak theme, having a roaring fireplace that kept the room nice and warm. Ruby moved to her desk, reaching underneath for 2 wine glasses and a tall bottle of wine to go with them. Blue-Blood took a seat on a soft red cushion adjacent to the large oak desk, adjusting his mane some again. This mare before him was very nice and sexy to boot. Maybe he'd try coaxing her into a date at some point after all this was done with.
Ah, wine. A most elegant choice for a toast. Fits the mood quite well.
Ruby nodded as she poured wine into the 2 crystal glasses. Before Blue-Blood could take it off the desk, she pointed to the painting above the mantel.
That over there is my uncle, Cinderwealth. You must know him. He helped influence much of Canterlot's industrial sectors.
Blue-Blood turned to look at giving Ruby just enough time to pull out a small vial of sickly green liquid and poured it into his glass. Within seconds, the substance diluted, vanishing without a trace. A smirk spread across the mayor's muzzle as he looked back at her.
It's a nice painting, I suppose.
He took the glass Ruby offered him, and his own magic bringing it to his lips.
To a greater future.
To partnership,
She toasted, and drinks down her glass. Every drop of the cool, bubbly wine ran down the stallion's throat, the potion undistinguishable from the brew. It would only be a matter of time until the magic started taking effect, and by the end, it would be too late. Blue-Blood rose to his hooves, licking his lips, satisfied.
Ah, what a divine wine choice. Your tastes are very adequate.
As he took a step forward to shake her hoof, a sudden jab ached his stomach, causing him to fall on his knees, almost bowing. His hoof held his stomach as he groaned.
I don't feel so good. Are you sure that wine was fresh?
Her smirk grew wider.
oh, trust me, it was good wine. Probably my finest wine I have. Of course, your standards are ridiculous, nearly unfathomable. It's a shame, really.
Blue-Blood groaned again, the strength in his hind legs dwindling as a tingling sensation ran along his hooves.
What are you talking about?
Another pain shot out of his hind legs as he collapsed, feeling something spreading up them at a steady rate. He saw the mare simply standing there to watch before giving a kick to his side, knocking the air out of him as he rolled over.
Oh, you'll find out soon enough, dear. I'm afraid there's nothing you can do to stop it.
What do you mean?
He looked down at his body, seeing the bottom of his hind legs has bulged out and rounded, having stitching around the soles. He couldn't feel his legs as a tingling ran up them more. He tried to move his other limbs, but something was zapping his strength. As he kept observing his transformation, he realized his own horn was glowing. He could do nothing to stop it, no matter how he tried.
Oh, I guess I might as well tell you.
She reached down and pat his tummy.
You're going to be a new addition to my plush collection.
Blue-Blood gasped, eyes opening wide at the realization of what was happening to him as he lost feeling in his rump as they slowly filled with cotton. More seams ran along and up his hips.
No, you can't get away with this. I'm a prince.
Ha! You're one of the most stubborn, obnoxious ponies in Canterlot. I don't even think Celestia herself will mourn your disappearance.
You're wrong.
Blue-Blood quivered for the first time in a long while, feeling terrified. His fur continued to change as a seam ran up his tummy. He yelped, feeling the sharp tingle as he became genderless as his lower half turned plush.
Aren't I? Every noble house hates your guts. You're so stuck up that you make your maid seem noble in comparison. Oh, I will so enjoy your company in bed when you're nothing more than a child's plaything.
She put her hoof, holding up his chin as she stared into his wide eyes.
No, you can't, please. I'll do anything, please. Just don't kill me.
His forelegs trembled, already showing signs of changing.
Oh, but you have, Blue-Blood. That paper you foolishly signed without reading was a legal transfer of all your assets to my house. You foolish little pony. Your pride got the better of you.
She smirks, watching his tail turn into twine, going limp instantly.
Besides, you won't die completely.
What? No, they will come looking for me. That document alone will incriminate you.
He gasped, feeling pressure applied as the spell ran up his barrel, filling his inside with more fluffy, yet somehow still breathing.
Oh, darling, even if I'm somehow cold, you'll be a plush for the rest of your days. There's no antidote after all.
She laughed, kissing his snout, which was already becoming rough and stiff. Blueblood's heart would be racing if he still had one. His limbs refused to move on their own. Even shivering in fear was no longer feasible. To say he was scared to death would be an understatement.
Please.
Oh, you poor thing. Let me help you ease your fear.
She floats up his limp body and moved his muzzle closer to hers. What happened next made Blueblood blush as she pressed her lips to his, making it as compassionate as possible. Being the last real kiss he likely ever get, he let her warm lips press on his. Not that he had a choice. The plush fabric ran up his neck as she pets his flowing mane, which was already starting to become simplified. The soon-to-be plush let out a whimper as she pressed him tighter, staring directly into his eyes. Some part of Blueblood's mind found the current ordeal pleasurable, if only he was capable of such feeling anymore. He kept staring into her eyes as his own started to stiffen and gloss over into big, friendly plastic ones. His ears flopped as he got stuffed, muffling what the mare said next.
Almost done, sweetheart. Hope you liked your last kiss.
Her hoof rubbed his short mane, smiling victoriously. As Blueblood's muzzle locked up into a big happy grin and his sense of smell vanished, he only wished he could die right there and then. But, to his horror, his mind was still somehow intact, allowing him to feel her touch and warm body.
Oh, if you really think hard, we can even communicate mentally. Well, only if I want to hear your voice, that is. So, you better watch what you say, or you'll end up in a small box for a long time.
Her smirk grew as he hugged her big new plushie. Blueblood could only whimper internally as his new life as a plush pony began, watching with forever open eyes as he was dragged along to her bedroom to become part of her collection.